Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another episode of Myth Busting Mondays. And for the final myth, guys, this is going to be unique because we've never done a myth type like this before. It's audio based. We are going to be having the final myth be, if you end up playing the song Save Me Some Sugar backwards, is there a hidden lyric that says Bill is dead? We're going to be taking a look at that in the end of today's episode, so make sure you stick around for that. If you guys end up enjoying today's video, please make sure you drop a like. But yeah, guys, let's get on with this week's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. Myth: can you die by allowing the cement walkway to fall on top of your head on the 4th chapter of Death Toll? Okay guys, so to start off the episode, the very first myth is going to be submitted in by Glotbursco. So me and Dan are going to head over to the forklift that ends up activating the panic event on Chapter 4 of Death Toll, and we're just going to have it where Dan is going to stand directly underneath of it, whereas I'm going to stand within the legitimate means of the game as close as I can, so that way we can see if this would happen in a legit game, or if you would have to no-clip to do this. And we're just going to activate the forklift while God Mode is off and just see if it will kill us. Okay, so I'm activating the forklift now as we speak, and as you guys can see, it's lowering down, and Dan is in the line of fire, and it looks like that's ready in his head, and it looks like it does not kill him, nor does it kill me, which means that myth number 1 is going to be busted. This panic event does not kill you, so you are safe. Myth: can a smoker knock down the TF2 cereal box on the 1st chapter of No Mercy? Alrighty guys, so myth number 2 is submitted in by Lee Everett. It's good to know that there is a myth being submitted in by one of my favorite fictional characters ever of all time, so thank you for submitting your myth, Lee. But yeah guys, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to go up to this table that's on No Mercy, where there's a little Easter egg referencing Team Fortress 2, and we're just going to play as a smoker and just see if we can knock it down by using a variety of different attacks, whether it end up being our tongue, or even as simply as our fists. Okay, so we're going to start off by using our tongue first, and it looks like the tongue ability does not knock down the cereal box. I'm aiming my cursor directly at it, and it's not even moving a single inch. But when I end up using my fist, I can knock down everything off the table, including some of the nearby things like the portrait and also the chair. So you can only end up using your hands and not your tongue, which means that the myth is confirmed. It's just a little anticlimactic. Myth: can a spitter's spit travel through mesh fences? Okay guys, so myth number 3 is going to be submitted in by Tyler, and we're just going to be testing this out near the merry-go-round on Dark Carnival again, just because this is a location that we have done recently that ends up having a mesh fence. And as you guys can see, a spitter is able to end up spitting its spit clearly through the fence, which means that myth number 3 is confirmed, very similar to the smoker myth that we tested a little bit recently. Myth: can you skip the merry-go-round panic event on Dark Carnival? Okay guys, so myth number 4 is going to be submitted in by Zoe. Now Zoe, your myth for this week in particular was the hardest one to test because we were unaware that the devs have recently put in a patch that makes it so that way there's an invisible barrier where there never used to be. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. You guys can see that Dan was floating there, but he wasn't using no clip. He was standing on an invisible barrier right next to this fence. And in a second here, when you're about to see him launch me, you're going to see that this invisible barrier is much bigger than anticipated. It not only ends up going outward, but it also ends up going inward, very long and horizontally. Like, I'm pretty sure most people would end up thinking that you should be able to walk by this point, but you have to stand right about here to be able to walk normally and technically be back on the ground again. And even though you will not see it, because technically I don't show my keyboard when I'm making these videos on like a webcam or something, but there's an invisible barrier that's right here. That's why I'm not walking anymore. And this is just simply because of the fact that we have not activated the merry-go-round yet. This panic event ends up having an invisible barrier that extends way beyond what I was thinking. I thought it would just be like a vertical straight line going up where the fence would be, but this invisible barrier goes down pretty much every major path route that you would try to take. So it goes horizontally, vertically, even diagonally, because I'm walking into so many things that I feel like I'm blind. There was even an old method that got patched where you could end up having a tank hit you over the fence because you fling so far at the peak of your jump, but even then the barrier's so high, you can't even do this anymore. But we did notice that, at least with a grenade launcher with perfect accuracy on, and with a staircase to give us a little bit of a boost so that way we had a direct shot, we were able to at least stand on the invisible barrier, but we wanted to see, could you do this legitimately? Could you do this with non-perfect accuracy on the grenade launcher and just by simply jumping in front of your friend? Because that's what everyone wants to know this for. They want to know if you can do this legit, because if you can cheat, then it really kind of defeats the purpose. And so we decided to not give up hope and give it a try legitimately. This ended up taking us so much time to end up trying to get this legit that I was even considering putting multiple SpongeBob time cards just to end up making a joke of how long that this felt like it was taking, but we decided that we were just going to end up having enough patience until we either saw this through or it was busted. And as you guys can see, it's very hard to get a normal shot when you're not in a corner. Most people grenade launch each other in a corner because it's easier for you to just end up like getting a straight shot that way. But the barrier extends outward a little bit to prevent you from doing it that way. So you actually have to get a running start and get lucky, essentially, in order to do it, kind of like how I just did there. Otherwise, you'll hit an invisible barrier on top of your head. And after a certain amount of tries, way past what a normal person's patience would probably end up needing, we were finally able to end up getting a legitimate attempt where we were able to end up crossing the invisible barrier with no perfect accuracy on the grenade launcher and no extra assistance from like a staircase or something. Which means that myth number 4 is confirmed. You can skip the merry-go-round panic event still, even in 2023, despite the patch. So if you have the patience of a saint, go for it. Alrighty guys, and now it is time for the final myth, and once again it is going to be, is there a secret hidden lyric within the song Save Me Some Sugar, where if you play it in reverse, you will hear the line, Bill is dead. So the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to take Save Me Some Sugar and just play a certain part backwards, because instead of just playing the whole song, which would take 5 minutes, I'm just going to take the part that I believe is the closest thing to sounding like that lyric, and I'm going to let you guys hear it normally first and then play it in reverse, and you guys can tell me if you hear that phrase. Myth: if you play the song Save Me Some Sugar in reverse, will you hear a secret lyric saying, Bill is dead? And before we get started with the final myth, I just want to give a shout out to Zaku for sending this final myth my way. So guys, did you end up hearing the phrase Bill is dead in the final myth? Because from what I heard, I was not able to personally hear it. I listened to the entire song in reverse multiple different times, and I was not able to hear it. And since this myth is audio based and not visual based, it's kind of hard to end up proving that it exists or even doesn't exist. This myth is like the Yanny Laurel thing from a few years back, where whatever you're thinking that it is what you hear. So I think that there is the possibility that there very well might be Bill is dead within the song if you thought that, but if you went into it not believing that, you would have not heard it. So for the type of myth that this is, I think it's just best to leave it at plausible and just let people decide on a personal level. I personally don't hear it, so I think it's busted, but you guys can be the judge of it in the comment section down below. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it here for today's episode of Myth Busting Mondays, and I do truly hope you guys ended up enjoying. And if you guys have a myth of your own that you would like to have be featured in next week's episode, just please put it in the comment section down below. I hope you guys ended up enjoying, and if you did, please drop a like. But yeah, guys, I hope you ended up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers we're ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys. I love all of you, and peace out.
Hey, meme lords, Jesus here. And you better have enjoyed that video there by the Eternal God Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too. And give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!